welcome to another episode of Time's Up Outdoors podcast. Before we get the show started, I just want to give a little quick rundown on who we're talking to and where we're at. As with the last podcast, we are still in Novi, Michigan at the Outdoorama, but this time we're going to be doing this podcast right from our booth, as in the next two episodes that you're going to see. Our guest on this episode is Lori Stroik. She runs the Wild Card Outdoors, and we're going to get deep into what that is all about. We met her at the show. She was working the booth across the aisle from us for the NRA. So we talk a little bit about the NRA and her volunteer work with them, but the bulk of the show is about her, about Wild Card Outdoors. And just the basics on what that is. They're doing some amazing things to get women and children out into the outdoors, hunting and fishing. I never heard of them until I met her at the show, and I found what she does incredibly interesting. Plus, she had told us that Kyle Green was supposed to have her on his show, and we wanted to beat him to the punch. So it all worked out. We were able to find some time, carve it out throughout the day, and sit down and have a nice long conversation with her about Wild Card Outdoors and the importance of getting women and children into hunting and fishing. We talk about some of the difficulties of doing so, and we talk about why it's important, all that good stuff. So I think you're really going to enjoy the show. Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to give us that 5-star rating and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, YouTube, and if you're watching this on Carbon TV, boost that score up. All right, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Time's Up Outdoors. We're back at the Outdoorama, Michigan's Outdoorama in Novi, and we are here with Lori. And Lori is the NRA girl, is what we've been calling her all week. She's working the NRA booth across the way from the aisle from us. So we decided to get her on the podcast because not only is she over there working with the NRA, but she also has another organization that we thought was pretty cool. Plus, she said that she was going to be on the Greenway Outdoors podcast, and they haven't called her back yet, so we figured we would beat them to the punch.
We got to beat them to it.
So,
well, that's on you guys, not on me.
Here's to you, Kyle Green. So, Lori, why don't you tell us a litof bit about
Let's talk about the NRA first. I want to.
Yeah.
So, explain it. We were here last year, and you were kind of explaining to me a little bit, but we knew we were going to have you on a podcast, so I just wanted to learn it right here. So, last year there was NRA. They were here, but you are affiliated, but not. So, how does that work?
Correct. I am actually a volunteer through the NRA, so I can do their memberships, but I'm not a corporate employee. So they have different membership recruiters throughout the U.S., and I just happen to be one of them that are here in Michigan, and they asked us if we would be interested in having this booth here this year, so we said yes, since it's right in our own backyard. This is the first year that they've also had the NRA ILA affiliated with an NRA membership booth, which is the Institute for Legislative Action.
Okay.
Which is the political aspect of it and what's happening in D.C. to protect our Second Amendment rights. So it's the first time they've kind of had a corporate booth, not a corporate booth, teamed up with the ILA as well. So it's kind of a unique booth this year.
And so as far as that goes, so what is your success like compared to last year? I don't know if you can speculate a little bit on that.
They gave me a number from what they hit for last year, and I'm about, as of this morning, after we did a few memberships already this morning, about 19 away from hitting that number for last year.
Awesome. That's awesome. And so to me, it sounds a little bit more like in the city of Detroit, without going into too much speculation, we've got essentially people that are in charge and that may not know just on their own bias that what we actually do in the field. Mm-hmm. And so it sounds like you guys are kind of the same way. Like maybe they, I mean, not bad mouthing, but they haven't experienced it, haven't seen it. So when it comes to, you guys boots on ground, you actually the lower, I mean, right here, right in Michigan, right in this locally. Mm-hmm. So you know how to react to these people more as people from DC coming down and saying, well, trying to relate with your community. So I think
That's kind of a good point.
To me, I think it's an awesome idea that they allowed you to do the memberships and all that stuff like that.
Yes, a lot of that too is what we do outside of, which we'll get into, and knowing the demographics.
Sure.
You know, the outdoor shows, the demographics, knowing the people that are here. One of the reasons we were offered this opportunity is both my husband and I were in DC in January, because through the ILA, the NRA ILA, we won the Top Volunteer of the Year award for
Awesome.
2018,
Awesome.
which is the J.M. Littlefield Award. So that kind of gives us a little bit more, you know, we've done this. We've been doing it. It really means a lot to us. It hits home. So we have a little bit of knowledge, a little more well-rounded versus just someone who is at corporate and they don't understand how the whole outdoor industry is working when they're at the political end.
Sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. How long have you been volunteering for them?
I started in 2018. And I did the NRA ILA then, and in 2019 we started the membership part of it.
So what got you involved? What made you want to spend your time doing this kind of stuff?
I grew up with this. Our family, they're always a hunting background, outdoors, Second Amendment rights, your guns. I was brought up in that, and so it's been instilled in me to where this is what it is, and you fight for that right. So it's always been something that I've been very passionate about.
So you said you grew up doing this, and obviously your husband as well. Your husband's also involved in the NRA, am I correct?
He is, not so much on the membership end. That's my end, but he's able to help me with that.
Okay.
But we both are through the NRA ILA
Awesome.
members, the affiliation with that.
And where is your district or zone, or who do you handle as far as the membership side? Are you just Southeast Michigan? Are you all of Michigan?
With my memberships, I can do that pretty much anywhere that I go because I am a volunteer.
Oh,
so
sure.
it's not that I'm assigned any one district with anything. It's the more members we can get, the better. So as many outdoor shows as we do, and usually we do them with our wild card booth and the ILA, and I can still do memberships as long as there's not a corporate booth there doing that.
Okay. And where are you living right now? So you probably try to stay somewhere in that region?
Oh no, we travel all over.
Oh, really?
This just happens to be our backyard, so this show is nice where we can go home every night.
That's
but we
awesome.
do travel all over with us.
Awesome.
So how many weekends a year are you spending doing this?
Between these shows and the events that we do, I have something going on every weekend, at least one weekend a month from now through October.
Holy cow. Ooh. October is deer hunting season, so
Yeah.
I'm going to guess you guys slow down for that?
Sometimes. I just haven't booked that far yet.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure the husband's going to veto that. Like, no shows in October.
I mean, that's what I would be doing.
Yeah.
Well, we do a lot of duck hunt
Okay.
as well. So a lot of times we'll plan duck hunts and take ladies and kids out duck hunting.
Yeah,
so we are always doing something. We just don't have those dates set in a calendar yet.
And so I feel like this is a good transition point.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's so you're here with the NRA's, your main booth. It's got NRA all over it. But you are also here, you have your pamphlets for another organization that you were started or involved in, or how does that, tell us about that.
I own, CEO, founder of Wild Card Outdoor Adventures, where we promote, encourage, and educate women and children in the outdoors.
Okay. So let's hear more about that. That's pretty cool.
It started about 2014, 2015, with someone that had offered us to get some women out to go rabbit hunting. So we did that, did a group. During this time, I was very ill. I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, and I fought it for 2 years before I had to give in and have surgeries. So I went through three surgeries from 2016 to 2018.
Wow.
And during those 2 years, come real close to meeting my maker.
Sure,
wow.
sure.
But my mission isn't over. I'm still here. I'm still going strong. And I know that since I'm still here, he has something in store for me. So we just keep promoting this and doing different events. And with our team members that we have, getting women and children out there, just letting them know they can be beginners, they can be advanced. The friendships that are built through all of this, it's amazing. And So with that, we don't do a lot of our own hunting because we're always taking someone else out. And my husband will even say to me sometimes, when are we going to go hunting? And I'm like, you don't. And it's like, I don't know. But just the experience, the feeling that you get when these ladies or these kids' faces light up when they've caught a first fish or they've got their first animal. There's just nothing greater than that you can experience.
That is incredible. We've been raffling off or doing a giveaway for a youth turkey hunt because that's how we decided to have you on. I'm like, that's an awesome thing because at Times Up Outdoors, that's what we try to do. Mm-hmm. We strive to get kids outdoors because that is the future of our outdoors. That's our passion, is to be outside and hunt. And that's going to go away if we don't get the kids involved. Right. We don't get, everybody that we can get involved right now. And I'm sure Kyle Green's going to say the same thing. But
yeah, Kyle talks about it all the time.
Yeah.
It's just so important.
So we've been giving that away, which is awesome. That hits home too, and that's why that's an awesome thing that you guys are doing. As far as that, how does it exactly work? I mean, is one supposed to get a hold of you or contact you or?
We have Facebook.
Okay.
We have a Twitter, but I don't really tweet a whole lot. That's just something I've never really figured out.
Join the club.
We have Instagram and we have a website.
Okay.
So we do have all of that to be able to find us. What I do is I try to be fair with the people who have signed up for my emails. So those people, if I've got an event that's going to be happening and I've got the date in the book and I now have the event live to register on my website, I will send everyone an email that is signed up for my emails so they get first notice. Mm-hmm. This way they get that first opportunity because they actually took the time to make sure they're getting those emails before I put it on social media and say, hey, this event is here. So then they can go to the website and they can register. A lot of times my events have limited spaces depending on how many boats I have or how many guides that I have available. So I kind of have to keep that number down. Sometimes smaller groups are easier to manage, but I did do my first walleye event. I was 8 weeks out of my first surgery. I'd already had it planned. And I wasn't backing out on it. We were raised, you don't back out on something, it doesn't matter. You will be in the ground before you don't show up.
That's good. That's cool.
I had 35 women.
Oh, wow.
9 boats. We went out of 4 different ports out of the Saginaw Bay. We all met back up at the end of the fishing event, got our group pictures, talked about the event. Every lady that I had there, I had donations from different companies to where every lady won something. So during the event, I was polling, I had everybody linked, so I was polling tickets. And this ticket number just won whatever it was. And they would respond back, that's me. They were so excited. Well, then they didn't know that when they got back, I still had prizes left over. So I was still drawing those tickets again with some of the other prizes that we had with stuff.
So what are the age groups for you? You deal with mainly women and children. With the children, what's the age group? Is it different for fishing and hunting, obviously, or?
Well, with hunting, they have to have had their hunter's safety to really get out and do something like that. Yeah. I just want to make sure that they understand the whole concept.
Absolutely.
They're more than welcome to go out with us, kind of see what it involves. Like you were saying, if we don't hit the kids, we're going to lose that. Mm-hmm. The women are the fastest up-and-coming group for the hunting and fishing right now, and fishing more so than hunting. It's really taken off. I look at it at another level as well, is a lot of homes are split homes anymore.
Yep.
And mom usually is raising the kids, maybe not sure how to go about hunting or fishing and getting the kids involved in doing these things. Dad, when he has the kids, might want to do something else with the kids and go sit somewhere quietly with them where you're not supposed to talk because you got to be quiet while you're out in the woods hunting.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
So there's lots of different factors why things are happening. The baby boomers, they're dying off, and their children aren't picking up the guns as much as the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's different reasons for why everything's happening. So I want to make sure I can touch as many as possible. Age ranges. We've had my granddaughter out when she was 3.
That's awesome.
And she went on a hog hunt, and Papa carried her almost the whole way, but she loved it.
Yeah.
And I've had ladies that I would say in their 60s that have gone out and done these with us.
Wow.
So, I mean,
That's awesome.
it's just a wide range. I don't really put a limit on it. If they're interested, there's no reason that they shouldn't have that ability to find out about it.
Absolutely.
We've had 3 generations on one of our bow fishing events where we had the son, the mom, and the grandma.
Oh, nice.
And that experience was you can't explain the excitement. That kid is never going to forget the time he went bow fishing with his mom and his grandma.
With his mom and grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's.
And you just created that child is going to be a bow fisher for the rest of his life.
Well, we got back in at 2 o'clock in the morning, and this kid is just wound for sound. We're all like, oh my goodness. And he's like, Mom, my birthday's coming up. I know what I want. I want a bow fishing bow. So he just thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
We had another steelhead event. I had 3 groups of mother-daughter. And to have the moms and daughters connecting like this and getting out and doing things, one of the mother-daughter sets, the father, the husband, was an avid fisherman and had passed away. So they said, let's go do this in honor of Dad.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome.
So there's so many reasons why everybody does this. And the wife never fished before. It just wasn't her interest, but they did this for him.
That's awesome. That is awesome. No, so it sounds like there's I got a couple of questions. It sounds like there's a bunch of, there's a numbering of tier level difficulty, I guess. I mean, it can be as low stress as, you just go out there and just kind of have a good time with the ladies and the kids or whatever. Or are there women that want to just do it as hardcore as possible? And they want to get in there and they want to go on a bear hunt. They want to go in, get in the suck and do it.
It is. We allow them so that it's low to, non to low pressure environment for them. They don't have to worry about being intimidated, anything along that line. If they reach the point where they say, okay, I've done enough, it's not for me, I can't do this, we're good with that.
Sure.
They've at least got outside of their comfort zone and they attempted. If they only want to do a little bit, but they really don't want to get dirty, that's good too. We'll take care of the rest of it. No. We don't want it to be a bad experience for them. We want it to be fun. We want it to be a learning experience.
Right.
So, and then we do have those that are hardcore that are like, let me in. I'm getting down with this.
That's
cool.
Awesome. That's awesome. And now so another question I'm having, it almost sounds like a guide. It sounds like you guys essentially are guiding
you guys are like a guide for everything.
Now, is there a price affiliated with different portions of it, or how does that work?
Depending on what the event is, like when we do our hog hunts or different bigger animals like that, obviously you're going to have to pay for that animal.
Sure.
When we've done our fishing events, all of that has been donated to us. So our salmon fishing events, our walleye events, so these captains are donating their time, their boats to us for these events. With that, I asked the ladies to tip them. They're still working their bottoms off for us, and tip them, give them what your budget can afford, because a lot of times they're not in a position where they could afford these trips to be able to pay what a tip would be.
So they're typically paying for their tags or their fishing license, and then
they still have to have all of their licenses that are required. And again, that gets into another segue here, but both Brian, my husband, and I are DNR certified hunter and bow hunter instructors.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So we do make sure that things are by the book and that there's no laws that are being broke. So they have to have their licenses that are needed. Hopefully they have hunter safety. If not, we can hook them up.
Right.
With their classes with that.
Firearms, poles, all that you guys provide?
Whatever they want to do. We've done we did a pheasant hunt, and a lot of the ladies that were there, well, I should say all the ladies that were there were all first timers. They'd never shot at flying birds before, weren't sure really what to expect. So before we went out and did our hunt, the ranch that we used did some skeet shooting.
Oh, cool.
So they threw some skeet and let the ladies shoot at those to kind of get an idea of what it's like to shoot at something that's moving.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We just try to make sure that it's fun and successful. We want them to come back.
Yeah, heck yeah.
And when I was saying with my being sick, it's so much healthier eating field to fork versus all the stuff that's in the stores anymore.
Heck yeah, it is. Now, for like deer hunting, you guys take people deer hunting, I assume?
We haven't had many ask about doing that,
Okay.
but if we did, we would try to find some type of area where we could do that. I mean, we don't have the property. We live
what
here
my
in
question-
suburbia.
Yeah, that was what my question was, is that deer hunting property is hard to come by for anybody, really, if you don't own your own land. And public land hunting it's public land hunting. If you're a hunter, you know what public land hunting is like.
Exactly.
So for you guys to just pop out into some public land with some new hunters, that'd be kind of tough to do. So I was actually going to ask, how do you go about getting property to deer hunt? But
I try to be resourceful.
Mhm.
See if I can find someone who maybe has some property. I mean, we do know several people. I don't like to ask if I don't have to. I would rather be, hey, I've got this. Would you be interested?
Yeah.
And we get a lot of that. So, I mean, I'm good with it. And
like,
which brings me to my next question is, how does somebody, so as neither Scott nor I would ever sign up for one of your guys' hunts, right? But what I would do is say I have a duck boat and 2 dogs that I like to run, and I always like taking people out. How would I get a hold of you to volunteer my time and boat and services and maybe land to you?
all of our social medias, our website, our pamphlets, our business cards have our email address on it, have our have my phone number on it, so that you can get a hold of us and
just
and
reach
produce
out more
that.
those
Yep,
ways.
yep.
Is there specific requirements that you require for those people? Like when you're taking people walleye fishing, you're obviously probably using mostly actual charter boats. But if somebody else wanted to just, I got a boat, I can volunteer my time on my boat and take some people out on as well. Is there requirements for that, or?
Well, some of those laws are getting a little strict now with the waterways, where if you don't have your captain license,
Yeah.
then they kind of frown upon that, because then they're like, well, you're taking people out and you're making money off of it, even though you're not. You're volunteering your time. It's still frowned upon, and they kind of look at that and go, we could ticket you. So there's a real fine line with that.
Yeah.
So we try to watch what we do with it.
On the fishing side of it.
Yeah, fishing
Yeah.
is different than hunting. Obviously.
Exactly. On the hunting side, I've had a few different companies say, hey, I have this, for example, a turkey hunt. I have turkeys on my property. I would like to have one of your, you get a lady up and come on up and let's go turkey hunting. So sometimes what I do when I've got something like that, I don't like to be the one that says, oh, I'm going to pick the person. It's like, you've offered this to me, so I'll put some type of contest together through social media.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what
And
we're doing.
go, okay, send me a 400-word little essay or whatever,
That's what we're
or a
doing.
video.
That's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, telling me why you'd like to win this.
Yeah.
And then I forward that off to the person who is giving us this opportunity and say, here you go,
They pick.
you pick. And this way it doesn't come back to me and go, well, you always pick. You always
Sure,
it's like,
sure.
I don't pick.
You always seem to pick women with blonde hair. And somebody would be upset about something.
Exactly. So it's like,
Put
nope,
it out of your hands.
I let them choose. They're the one that, provided it for us. So I
Right.
think they should have some involvement in that.
And so now, I'm not going to say that this is what, but it could. So how does that transpire to the NRA and the memberships? Do you guys get a lot of women and children, or not obviously not children, but a lot of women signing up for the NRA now because they've dabbled their feet in hunting and Second
Or do
Amendment
you guys
stuff?
keep that
Or
separate?
do you keep it as separate as you can?
Pretty much everyone knows that I wear many hats.
You're the NRA girl?
I can be whatever, the rough grouse girl, the NRA girl, the Rocky Mountain Out girl.
Are you Rough Grouse Society?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
For where? What?
The
Where-
MLA City, the Robert J. Lytle chapter is the one we're out of.
Oh,
He
okay.
just went rough grouse hunting in West Virginia. Ask him
yeah.
how many rough grouse he shot.
I'm going to say 0 because it's not easy.
No, it's not easy. We only flushed about a dozen in 4 days. So.
Well, we did our first ladies mentored rough grouse hunt last year.
Mm-hmm.
And we did it in October.
That's bold. Well, in October,
Well,
okay.
trying to, again, be successful for the women. The first one, the leaves are off the trees. It's a little cooler. The dogs can run a little more. I had this event planned, and it was October 19th. And October 18th, my grandmother passed away, and October 18th was my event. However it went, my grandmother passed away 2 days before, and my dad passed away the day before.
Oh, my
Jesus.
So I walked into this event, and people...
And you still went?
I still went.
Jeez.
I still went. My dad would have probably had lightning bolts coming down if I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
My dad knew I had this event. My dad was excited for me with this event. It was back in our hometown.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, and I was excited. I was like, oh, I get to actually share this with my dad this year. And it was not the way I wanted to share it, but
Sure.
he was there with me.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
He had to do something with success rates, and
Yes.
I'm sure.
Well, being that the hunt was the next day, I didn't figure many people knew about it at that point, that my dad and my grandmother had passed away. I walked into where we were having our meeting, our mentor meeting and breakfast, and I had more mentors there than what I had anticipated.
Sure.
Really?
Because somebody had leaked
Oh.
that
Mhm.
what had happened.
Wow.
So they all stepped up, different chapters throughout Michigan, all over, stepped up and grabbed a few extra buddies to come up and help out to make sure this was still successful.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked in and I was just kind of like...
That just really restores your faith in humanity and the outdoor community.
It's the outdoor industry in general. People think that it's really huge, but it's a very small, tight-knit family. I mean, we all look out for each other. I mean, even here at these shows, you learn, you meet so many people that it's almost like family anymore. So you look out for each other's booths and things when, they're not even in them. It's
been a common theme. We've done this is our third podcast this weekend, and the common theme has been the relationships. Doing this, whatever you're in it for, the relationships that come out of it, and just continuously showing you that the hunting community is such an awesome community of people, hunting and fishing.
Exactly. And since then, with that whole event, I don't recall a whole lot of all of the details, but my husband has told me, and it reached so much social media. I mean, it was blowing up social media, that I've had guys come in and saying, hey, I have dogs. I want to be part of your next women's event.
That's awesome.
So we do have the second annual in the books. We're going to give them a different experience where it's going to be in September. Your leaves are going to be on the trees. It's going to have to be a morning hunt so the dogs don't get overheated. But it'll give them hunting is hunting. There's different stages. There's different things and conditions that it's not just going out and it's going to be easy.
Right.
So,
and that's a pretty tough lesson to teach a first timer, especially a grown first timer. That somebody that might be 25 to 35 years old, they don't. Okay, well, we just go out there and we're going to be successful and shoot a bunch of geese. But it's not like this all the time. You got to come out again and see. You got to fail a bunch to really appreciate. So how many? That was a transition to my next question: is how many of these repeat women and children do you get out, or do you allow?
I do not discourage repeats. I want them to get back out because I try to make my events, I try to mix them up. So we might be grouse hunting one time, we might be duck hunting the next, we might be rabbit hunting or whatever it is. It's just, they have to have all these experiences, and if you tell them they're not going to, they can't come again, well, they're never going to go again.
Right.
They're that's it,
I would
they're
imagine
done.
some women, it might be the only way they can get out.
Exactly.
Or children, for that matter.
Exactly. So, no, I don't tell them you can't come back. I've had several ladies come back and do my bow fishing event. I have an annual, it's either my 4th or 5th annual Mother's Day bow fishing event. And BAM helped me out. They donate their boats, their bows, and we get ladies out. And every year, this has grown, and I have repeat women coming back because to them...
yeah, you got BAM involved. You guys are shooting a pile of fish.
So, well, it all depends. It's some boats have. This last year we went out, and again, it's Mother's Day. We're in winter jackets. It was freezing.
Yeah.
And we've done a daytime one to kind of see, because some ladies weren't sure about doing the nighttime in the boats in the water. And the nighttime is just so much better. So we've continued to keep it in nighttime. And we meet about 6. We'll grill some brats and have potato salad, macaroni. We always try to put some type of meal together when we have our events. Then everybody goes and they get out on their boats, and the guys go to whatever honey hole they have. And I tell them when they're done, if it's 11, 11:30, 2:30, whenever you guys are done, bring the ladies back and they're free to take off and just share your pictures that you guys have on social media with us, and everybody loves it that way. So
that's all. That sounds like such a cool thing that you guys got going on, and definitely you're taking an aspect that we're really at Times Up Outdoors we're super into, and just kind of really focusing in on getting the women and children out and make sure that they're having a great experience. I mean, obviously we've got a lot more stuff that we got to do, and it's awesome to see organizations that, I mean, you're behind the scenes. You get no credit for any of this stuff, but you don't care.
it's not why I do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's an awesome thing.
For us, we have full-time jobs where we have it's that pesky thing called a job that we have to
I
go
have
to
one of
all the
those.
time. Yeah, right. So, like we didn't create a TV show to make money per se. I mean, at the end of the day, some of it has to be funded somehow. So there is that aspect of it, but we also have our full-time jobs. That's what pays our bills. So we have the unique ability, whereas a lot of TV shows, they have to make money. I feel like we can focus more on what the reasoning behind getting into a TV show is, aside from just the pure entertainment of it. We realize that kids nowadays, and young adults for that matter, their faces are in their cell phones all day long, or their tablets or their computers. It's on a screen of some sort.
Right.
So if we can inspire them to get outside and do something rather than just staring at their phones all the time, if that's through the screen that they're watching all day long, then that's how we're going to do it. And so, like, we get to do a little bit of taking a kid out here and there. Like, a couple of our episodes are taking kids out into the. We haven't really done much with like adult women yet, but
well, it's kind of hard when you're guys. That could be kind of creepy.
right, exactly.
Right.
And we're all married too. So, well, Nico's not married, but we he's married, but we can't, like, I don't know how they would be like, you're taking who out?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm taking this 35-year-old single lady out.
The first outdoor show that we were asked to do was 2 years ago. And then they had asked me to do a seminar. And I'm like, sure. Well, after that, I ended up being asked to go to Las Vegas for the Safari Club
You
convention.
must have done great then in that seminar.
Well, it hadn't done the seminar yet, so I had to have my husband do the seminar. And he goes, "Are you serious? You want me to do a seminar on getting women and children into the outdoors?" He's like, "You think that's really going to work? I'm a guy. That doesn't."
You're right. Yeah.
So that's why I said the whole creeper thing.
That's definitely a creeper move.
So one of his ladies that he worked with had gone on a couple of our events, so he recruited her to go and do the seminars with him.
Good. That's awesome. Very good.
So yeah, you really have to look at how you do it and how you approach it. And a lot of times women, and I don't say this in a negative way, but we have to have your trust.
Sure.
Yeah.
And men can be very intimidating.
Well,
absolutely.
And I didn't want to say that, but yes.
I think one of the hardest things for women, single women or divorced women, widowed, whatever, if you're a female and you want to get into hunting and you're in your 30s or whatever, who do I talk to? Well, mostly men. So most men that are hunting and fishing, like myself, I have a wife and kids. Like, some woman that I'm friends with is probably not going to ask me, "Hey, can you take me out hunting?" Because she knows that I probably am going to be like, "Nah, I don't know if that's going to work out." Like, maybe if Amanda came with me, but so I would imagine it's really hard for women that want to get into it because of that aspect. Like, who do they go with?
Well, even to go to the store and find out what type of equipment or clothing or what you need, a lot of men will look at them and go,
"Yeah,
like ask your
really?
husband."
You got it. You don't
Which
know."
Which seems sexist, but that's just the way it's just the way it is.
Well, and it is, and it's a man's world.
Yeah, right.
That's how everybody has been brought up. It's a man's world. So where do you start?
Right.
I was just fortunate enough that my uncles have been all over the world. Our family's always hunted. So, I mean, it's...
Yeah, if you don't have a family member doing that, then...
Exactly. Where do you go and how do you find these things out? And that was one of the reasons that I started this. My aunt is the world record holder for the SCI Yukon Moose.
Oh, wow.
And I figured, you know what, if she can do this, anybody can do this. So she is my inspiration behind it all.
Cool.
With that... I've seen so many men belittle their wives. So many women say, I tried, but he didn't know how to, he he was just mean and he got angry or mad or whatever trying to show me.
That's
You know,
fair.
That's
so,
fair.
So
We're
that's
jerks.
where
are
that's where
jerks.
a lot of women then don't want to go out hunting with their
Right.
husbands anymore, and their husbands always go, "Well, I wish my wife would go."
Yeah, they don't even understand why they won't.
I need to let my wife know about this because I went turkey hunting
broke her
with her
shoulder.
one time.
He broke her
And
collarbone.
she was very, very in on it. I mean, baby was at the in-laws. Everything was great. We sat down, had a big old time, come over this ridge, and we kind of snuck up on it. And she was having a good time, as far as I could tell. The only problem is that I'd never had her shoot prone before, and so in this moment she was prone. I was using my hand as a shooting stick. I'm like, he's gonna come right up over this ridge. As soon as he does, shoot him right in the face. Well, he comes up a little bit to the right, so she has to move, pulls the trigger, and just drops it. Like, what are you doing? Shoot it! She's like, my shoulder, it hurts. I'm like, no, it doesn't. And I firsthand, I know, and you know what? I'm not trying to believe, and it's nothing that I'm trying to do. I'm just like,
You were mean to your wife.
I watched you
Admit
cry.
it.
I watched you cry because you saw a cute baby duck, and now you're crying because it's like, did it scare you? Yeah, it's like, oh, come on. There's so many things that I think could be happening because I can't relate with that. I'm
Not a broken
I'm a
collarbone.
man, and I've broken bones and then been like, and played the rest of a game or went through a fire, and so I can't relate to it. But it's nice to have somebody that can.
Right.
And now you could say,
Somebody that wouldn't have yelled at her.
yeah.
Well,
It's essentially.
it's the first time doing it. You can't expect it to be perfect,
Sure.
So you've got to go into each experience like that. I had a couple at my booth yesterday, and he's an instructor, and he wanted his wife to go out with him shooting, so she went one time. She goes, and I was so worked up and scared. She's like, I couldn't do it. I don't have any interest. So I got talking with her about it and, making a few different valid points to him. And she goes, yeah, that's exactly it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I gave her some resources of where she could go and have another lady help her shoot. I'm not great with handguns. Archery is my thing. I shoot competition, so that's more where I'm at.
That's cool.
I'm learning the handguns. I have one. I'm sure it's going to be very addicting, and there'll be more in my
Mm-hmm. You're going to end up with 7 by the end of
That's
the
what
year.
happens.
So, and it is. You have to look at each lady is different. Each one has their own comfort level, their own trust level. And I think that's with me being well-rounded through the DNR, through the NRA, through the NRA ILA, and my experience in the outdoors just growing up, that I think that gives them enough where they can trust me and say, and I'm also pro staff for Bass Pro and Cabela's. So, I mean, it's just all these different things. If I'm going to show these women and these children, I need to be educated and make sure that I know what's all available as well.
And you don't come off as like in this case with my wife, like I would be, I'm such an avid hunter and I'm out hunting all the time. And she sees that every day, and it's almost like she is afraid to go with me to do something that I'm passionate and potentially good at, right? Because she knows my passion level for it. And when it comes to somebody who's kind of stranger and more, maybe a woman, and show her how to do this thing, she's way more comfortable with somebody like you than she is with her own husband, which that frustrates me. But now I'm understanding this more and more.
Well, and it's like that in a lot of aspects of life. Like when you're a kid and your dad's your baseball coach, and your dad's telling you to do something over and over and over again, and you're listening to your dad, and you're like, yeah, whatever. And then some other baseball coach comes along and tells you to do the exact same thing, and you're like, oh, and then you do it. And your dad's like, I've been telling you to do that for 2 years.
It's
Exactly.
because you're too
That's
comfortable.
how it is. You're too, It's so someone else coming into the picture has got to make it way easier for women and kids, for that matter.
A lot of that is your tone
Yeah.
and how it's even presented. Being husband and wife, your wife also doesn't want to let you down.
Yeah.
She knows that this is something that you do,
That's
so she
true.
wants to be able to do it with you. But there's that, I don't want to let him down, and he's going to get mad if I mess up, and then he's going to yell, and then I'm going to be upset. And
We took I took my stepkids out. She shot her first deer this year, and she's 8.
awesome.
And editing the video for Carbon TV, I'm going through I'm scrubbing through, and I'm listening to the audio. And there was a bunch of deer coming in, and she's talking loud, and I didn't even know I said it, but I said, I swear a lot. My kids know they're not allowed to swear. I'm always getting in trouble at home because they say the F word too much, especially after a day of work. I said, I go, shut the fuck up. And I was so focused on like what was going on, and like she was like, "There's a deer right there," and I'm like trying to get her to quiet down. I said shh like 2 times, and she.
But
and
you're killing her excitement because she's getting to see that deer.
Afterwards, I was like, I felt terrible that I said it, and obviously I had to edit that out. But thankfully, she's so used to me talking like that most of the time, so it didn't even like. Watching the video footage when I said it, it literally didn't even register with her because she was probably so amped up. But I still was like, I learned something from watching that. In fact, I always learn things when I watch my videos when I take the kids out that I like need to work on with myself to like be better with them, and it's hard for me.
But until then, you didn't think you were doing anything wrong.
Not at all. When I saw it, I was like, oh wow, you're a dick.
Because you were just as amped up as she was.
Why did you say that to her? She's 8.
I mean, well, and she was excited. It's like, look, there's a deer, there's a deer. So
yeah, so no, we really think that. Well, and you're a super trustworthy person. I mean, we met you a couple of days ago, and yesterday you were holding. You reached for my son, and I was like, here you go, and I walked away.
That's just my grandma touch. I've got 3 grandchildren.
It was like I didn't even think about it, and Amanda didn't either. She never asked me like, who is that? She didn't like if she felt a weird vibe, she'd be like, what are you doing? Like, who has our kid? But she didn't say anything at all. She's like, oh, cool. Somebody else to hold our kid.
Well, that is awesome. We're encroaching our time limit here, and I really appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Well, thank you for having me.
And you got to do one more quick plug on both what you're doing here. So quick plug.
Like
how
where
do we
they can get a hold of you and all that stuff.
Wildcard Outdoor Adventures. We are on Facebook. Our website is www.wildcardoutdoors.com. Instagram is Wildcard Outdoors. Social media basically is the best way, the easiest way to get a hold of us. I mean, we're on that constantly. My husband's the behind the scenes guy for that, so he usually monitors that a lot more because I'm busy organizing all the events and things that way. But that's the best way to get a hold of us, and we usually within the same day we'll get back to you.
Wonderful. Well, we really appreciate you coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
And tell Kyle we beat him to you.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Perfect.